my loves. Welcome back to the Ariel Show. Oh my God, can you believe this right now? I cannot believe this right now. It has been 2 years since my last Ariel Show episode, and so much has happened, so much has changed. I've learned so much, and so I'm just freaking thrilled to be back here on this platform, getting to connect with you guys yet again. I have missed you. I have missed this. Even though I stopped doing these videos, I didn't stop writing the scripts for them in my head. I'd be like journaling about something like, oh my God, I wish I could tell my Ariel Show viewers about this. And here is my chance. You're back, I'm back. This is limited time only, and so I'm going to make the most of our time together. But let me just back up. In case you're confused why I'm back here on YouTube, it's because last month we did a Kickstarter campaign and we did a crazy stretch goal that if we got to 3,000 backers, the Ariel Show would revive itself. And you know what? You freaking did it. You blew our minds. And so this episode is dedicated to 3,200 of you who pledged in the campaign to help us make our new album and then also help us bring back the Ariel Show. Super cool. Also, side note, Sean is getting a dog. That's a whole other thing. You'll have to ask him about that. He's going to start the Sean Show to document this dog getting process. Dear Lord. But anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about the reasons that I left YouTube in the first place. So since it's been 2 years since the last Ariel Show episode, I kind of want to fill you in on what's been going on with me, my thought process, and really the exact reasons why I decided it was time to hang up the Ariel Show in the first place. As I look back, I can see that these reasons are actually like kind of helpful life lessons for me that I still use to this day. And I hope that as I share them with you today, there'll be some insights that you can grab from this as well. Okay, so the 5 reasons I quit YouTube, here we go. Okay, so the first reason that I had to leave was because I was losing my mind with stress and overwhelm. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when your brain is just so fried and you're like, I can't keep going at this pace. I can't keep doing this. That was me at that time. So that it was fall of 2018 and we were in the middle, like up to our eyeballs and making this acoustic album called Still Can't Kill Us. And we're like, we're gonna do it ourselves. It'll be fun. No, it was really freaking hard. We thought it would take like a couple weeks. It took months and dragged on, and it just made me lose my mind. And so I had to look at my life and really take stock and see everything that I was doing, because not only was I making music and doing the Ariel Show, I'd recently released a book, I was doing speaking engagements, we obviously have a pretty crazy touring schedule, and then on top of that I also had custom catastrophes. Like there was a lot of things happening and I had to just like take a step back and admit to myself like, girl, you can't do everything. And that's really hard for me to do, you guys. I just have this tendency to keep thinking I can always keep going. Like there's always more in the tank. I can always demand more from myself. But that's part of kind of like my old way of thinking, my old way of being that I kind of used to do when we started the band. And I was like, I gotta hustle this out. I gotta make everything happen. And I'm like, oh girl, like you're gonna kill yourself if you do that. Like you're gonna run yourself into the ground. And so I've kind of since been learning that it is okay to not show up at 100% at everything in life. You know, and that's hard. I love doing the Ariel Show. I love getting to connect with you guys. Like I love getting to be on this journey together, this growth journey. Like it's really helped me a lot to get to connect with you guys on the show every week. And so to pull the plug on that, that was a hard decision. Like it was something that needed to be done, but it wasn't easy. And it felt like a sacrifice. It felt like, oh God, like I'm losing this beautiful thing that I've been building for like 5 years. And I share that to say that it is hard to step back and to prioritize like our own well-being, but that's what I was trying to do. And you know what? I'm really proud of myself for doing that. That was one of the big times I look back in my life that I'm like, girl, like that was hard to do. Like that was hard to say no and to be like, I can't keep going, to admit to my own limitations. And I've been able to kind of use that, you know, in other times in my life and also say no to things, or also kind of cut back on my schedule, or not like run myself into the ground like I was saying. So if you kind of know what I'm talking about, that feeling, which a lot of us do, like I don't know how we all live like this, where we're all just breakneck speed all the time. There's no margin, there's no space, there's no breath. Can you look in your life and see, is there something that might be a sacrifice for you that wouldn't necessarily be awesome or fun to cut, but that would serve the overall big picture for your life? Maybe that's something to consider. And I will say this, a lot of times we don't quit something because we're scared of what the repercussions are going to be, what other people are going to think and say. So I always have to remind myself that My audience, the Icon Army, is so compassionate, so understanding. I mean, I feel like sometimes you guys know my limitations and boundaries better than I do. Like, you're more understanding of me saying I need a break than I'm understanding of it myself. And so I hope that that's also true in your life, that you can share maybe your limitations with other people, and you'll find that you're met with a lot of empathy, compassion, understanding, rather than a bunch of like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Because that's been my experience. And I also want to say thank you for your understanding. It really, really means a lot. Okay, moving on to the second reason why I decided to leave the Ariel show. I learned around that time that I'm something called the rebel personality. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this, this is based on Gretchen Rubin's The Four Tendencies, which, side note, go to Google and take the quiz. It's free. Figure out what type you are. It's been so helpful to have that self-awareness in my life. So the 4 types of people, it's either if you respond well to inner and outer expectations, or you just respond well to one or the other, inner or outer, or if you suck at both kinds of expectations, inner and outer. That's the kind I am. Oh my God, is that the kind you are? Because it freaking sucks, and I just want to like give you a non-contact hug. I hate hugs, but I love you. But I cannot stand, like, what are the odds that I'm in the category that just sucks at all the things? And I had been working against that tendency my whole life. I mean, it's amazing I got anything done at all. And so when I was able to see that the type of category that I'm in, first of all, to acknowledge that I am a type, that I'm a kind of person, that I'm not just like this own crazy special kind of weirdness in my own lane trying to make things happen, but to feel like, okay, I am a kind of person here, and there are tricks and workarounds I can do to make this work for me. And so in the last couple of years, I've really been exploring that for myself, of how I can show up in the world in my own way, even when it doesn't fit conventional stuff, right? Like, for example, I have a hard time if I'm supposed to write an album. If I were to like sit down Monday at 2 o'clock every afternoon and write a song, like that would be torture for me. Like nothing would come, I would be like, this is the dumbest thing ever. However, what I can do is like stay up till 3 in the morning and bang out 6 songs that I love and that like feed my soul. And so I've kind of learned that I need to work within that erratic schedule, let my inner muse, my inner fairy creativity speak to me, and not set obligations for myself. Obligations are creativity killing, soul crushing for me. And so you can imagine when I learned this about myself and I looked at my life and I was like, oh yeah, here is an obligation I set up for myself every week, that I promised the world I would create an episode every week, whatever, Friday at noon, whatever it was. And I have to keep showing up in this way, because the rebel personality is such that the second that there is a kind of an expectation, an obligation put on it, you rebel and you're like, oh hell no, I want to do everything but that. And so that's what I was up against. And so I wasn't working within my own limitations because I didn't really know about them. But now that I do, for me, I have learned I need to be really careful and really think through something before I make any promises or put myself on a schedule, or really just like forecast my future and like publicly tell the world, this is what's coming. That's really hard for me, because then I want to do everything but that. So you're probably wondering like, okay, how is the Ariel show going to work this time around? Well, I've thought about this, and here's the answer. I'm just going to do it when I feel like it. And so it's a limited time only. I'm going to let it run until the album Amorphous comes out, which is February 19th, in case you didn't know. And I think I'm going to go like every other week. I think I'm going to like skip Christmas, New Year's stuff, and maybe I'll skip weeks. I'm not gonna like promise you a drop time. We're all gonna find out together when the Ariel show enters the world, because I'm just gonna do it sporadically when I feel like it, because I know that's what works for me, and that's what's gonna give you the best experience too, because I'm gonna be showing up because I want to be, not because I have to be. So obviously the lesson here is find out how you respond to expectations, go take the freaking quiz, and then see if there's ways in your life that you can adjust to make it work for you. Okay, the third reason I left YouTube is because YouTube culture at the time was really starting to get on my nerves. 2018 was one of the highlights of the clickbait thumbnail world, and let's go make slime, and oh my god, I blew up my car, and just like a bunch of crap that was so not something I cared about or resonated with. And so I kind of had a hard time finding my space within that YouTube culture. And I did feel pressure, probably just made up in my head. I felt pressure to be evolving the production and the camera and the light setup. There is no light setup, by the way, or like make the audio good, or like do different cool like sets and stuff. And that's not my skill set. That's not really my strength. And so I felt like it was kind of a losing battle. And in a way, looking back, I think I got in my head a little bit about that, and I don't think I needed to, because I think it was okay that I was showing up in kind of my raw, whatever way, not really like super high gloss and produced, and that's okay. But at the time, I felt like I had to show up the way everyone else was showing up. So the takeaway here, I think, is to be okay being in our own lane and to just kind of create our own little vibe. You know, I really like to show up authentically, and so anytime that I feel I have to alter myself to fit what the way I'm supposed to, the way I'm expected to show up. It's a struggle for me. The takeaway being, you can always just show up in your own way and you don't have to conform to what everyone else does, and that's okay. And you're gonna find and connect with other people who also resonate with the way that you show up, and you're just gonna do your own thing. And that's what I feel like our band has done, because we're independent, so we don't do things in the traditional way, and that's worked out really well for us. So maybe you too can look in your life and find ways to do things your own way rather than conform to the system. Okay, the next reason I decided it was a good idea to take a step back from YouTube was because of a few bad apples in the community. So obviously the Icon Army is freaking fantastic. I love you guys, you're amazing. And anytime there's an audience that size, there's gonna be a few people who are less amazing. And there was some individuals who, I don't even know how to say this, who made it harder for me to feel like it was a good idea to keep showing up vulnerably and authentically. Threats to our safety, threats to a lot of things. Things like, I'm not even going to give any individual the satisfaction of any specifics, because like, no, they don't deserve their own story time here. So like, that's all I'll say, but like, you can fill in the gaps. It just stopped being a safe place for me to show up. And that's kind of sad. But what I have found in the meantime is a safe place online to show up. And I realized like, it's not always a good idea to put out your raw, unfiltered self to all corners of the internet and the whole world. But if you can kind of create your own little community, your own inner circle where it is safe, then that's a really beautiful thing. And that's what we've managed to do on Patreon, the Icon Army headquarters. You guys know, like, we do our live streams, we show up with you guys. We are 100% raw, unfiltered. We say whatever comes to mind. And I feel like it's a very safe space here because we know you. Like, we literally have met most of you all over the world. We know your names, we know your faces, but more importantly, we know your hearts, and you know our hearts. So there's that trust that's been built there, but that trust hasn't been built with the entire YouTube community. And so what I've learned from that is to show up as authentically as I can in every space. But if there's certain spaces like inside of Patreon where I can do it even more so without second guessing myself and just 100%, like, that's super good for someone like me, and it's something that I need in my life. So I'm really grateful for it. All right, we're coming up on our last reason. Number 5, I left YouTube, was to focus on the music. Believe it or not, I'm a musician first. And sometimes I forget this because I do so many other things that I just like, I want to try it all. And I have to continually keep recentering to, like, Ariel, music is the thing that lights you up the most. Music is the thing that makes me feel the most like myself. Like, when I sit down to write a song and I get it right and I express myself in exactly the way I want to, like, it is fireworks in my brain, like all is well with the world. And when I'm on stage and I look out, oh my God, I miss live shows, okay. When I look out and I see a song really resonating with someone in the audience that we're singing and it means so much to them, I'm like, oh, yes, like, of course, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my time in my life. And so anytime that doing something else on the side starts to encroach on my ability to do the thing, I have to really take a step back and like re-examine that. You know, and I was realizing I could put a bunch of time, energy, brain power, creativity into creating an episode, or I can put that same brain power and creativity into creating a new song. And it seemed like the songs resonated with more people, they have more impact on people, and they make me light up in a way that nothing else can. And that's called your zone of genius. That's called being in the flow, being in the zone. And so I hope that you have found that thing for you. And if you haven't, I hope you're not discouraged, because like, that is hard, but keep going, keep trying different things until something just kind of clicks. When you find the thing that clicks, like, you gotta serve that. You gotta like make everything else in your life fit that as much as you can, because that's probably like the reason you were here. I just got really philosophical on us for a second, but really I needed to focus more on the music. And I look at the time since then and all the music and content we've been able to create, finishing that acoustic album, making Hollow Venom, Blindside, music videos, multiple tours overseas, multiple US tours, this new album Amorphous, which is something we're so proud of and just feel like, oh, about. And I just feel like it was the right move for me to recenter and focusing on the music. And I hope you guys enjoy all the great music that's to come. I'm really excited about it. So that's it. Those are the 5 reasons I decided to move on. And I have nothing but love in my heart for my time on YouTube and the Ariel Show. Like, I'm so grateful for that platform and that time. It really was beautiful and wonderful, but something can be awesome at the time, and then also you can realize that it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's not moving on. It's not time to move on yet. I'm going to be on YouTube for the next couple months, bringing my face on a notification. So I hope that you stand by and watch, or you know what? Don't. I don't even care. You can subscribe or not. You can like the video or not. I'm not trying to get the attention of YouTube's algorithms. I'm just trying to hang out with you guys and just show you some love and just thank you for being in my life. So those are it. Those are my 5 reasons I left YouTube. Do leave me a comment letting me know what's been going on in the world. Not in the world, I already know that. It's not good. What's been going on in your life since last time we hung out here together. And I'll see you next time, whenever that is. We will find out together. Love you.